Good afternoon, Ed Quinn. Welcome on VH Berries.
Hello, Victor. How are you?
I am extremely grateful. How about you today?
You know, I couldn't be much happier, Victor. I am in my new home. I just wrapped season 6 of The Oval. I have all kinds of fun stuff coming up. Life is great right now. So I really couldn't be much happier.
You couldn't be much happier, Ed Quinn. But before that, I would like to do a health check about a very special item that you have, which is the Thor exclusive 50 years battle jacket by Judas Priest that you drown under the water for the purpose of the cover of Whole Lotta Rosie.
Okay, so a very good friend of mine, his name is Max Bretos. And now Max is he's very big soccer announcer in the American Professional League for the LAFC. Max is now the voice of LAFC. Before that, he was at ESPN for years, and he's a good friend of mine. And we love old school heavy metal. And so he called me, or I called him a year or so ago and said, Judas Priest is playing at the Gibson Theater, and I've got second row seats on my computer. I could buy them right now. Do you want to go? And I'm like, yeah, I want to go. So we shoot over there to the Gibson Theater, and we get there a little early. So we're having a few drinks, and we decide we need some memorabilia. Well, we had kind of been drinking too long, and the lines were so long for all of the merchandise for Judas Priest because it's Judas Priest, and everybody wants a Judas Priest shirt and this. By the time we got up there wasn't a lot left. It was either like triple extra large t-shirts that came down to my knee, or like shirts that would only come up to about here. He got one. He's a large, I'm an extra large. And he got the quintessential, the very iconic British steel, which is the hand holding the razor blade from the British Steel album cover. I didn't know what else to get, but then I looked up and I saw this one ridiculous vest with the things out the back, and I was like, oh my goodness! And Max was like, "You're not buying that," and I'm like, "I think I have to," and he goes, no, I think you have to. So not only did I buy it, but then I wore it around the concert. And for whatever reason, when I was going to do the photo shoot for the album, where I shot all of the art with this amazing photographer, Jeff Borney. I met Jeff Borney in Milan 30-something years ago. He was a huge model, Armani and Hugo Boss, and now he's this great photographer. And so we had gotten a bunch of clothes from John Varvatos and gone out to Joshua Tree to shoot. And we shot all day and all night, and we woke up in the morning, again, a little hungover. I mean, you're French, you understand. And I had this cowboy tub. He goes, oh, I got to shoot you in the cowboy tub. What do you have left? I go, how about this vest? And he goes, where did you get that? And I go, it's a long story, but I put my Judas Priest vest on. I got in the cowboy tub in the desert. He took a couple of photos, and we shot a lot of nice art, but those silly photos, at dawn, in the hot tub, in that vest, are probably our favorite photos. So
this is your favorite photo because you chose it as the album cover, and by putting this very special vest underwater, we can say now that this is a destruction for creation. This is a cycle.
Yes, it absolutely is. And it also, but Judas Priest goes back for me, growing up as a kid in the late 70s and early 80s and learning to play guitar, Judas Priest was just one of these larger than life bands that we loved. It was Judas Priest, it was Iron Maiden, it was the Rolling Stones. There were just some bands out there that were so iconic. And so to me, it'll always, their music and the way they play and the way they perform always hold a very special place in my heart. So to be wearing that vest in that photo is it's very fitting.
Absolutely, Ed Quinn, and in definitive, it might be not all about destruction because I have a solution. It would be to put that vest on the cactus in the background to help the vest dry, but we could have some hole in addition of the gold studs that you just mentioned.
Victor, where were you? Where were you when we were in the desert and we needed you? We needed your eye for fashion. We needed your creativity. So here's the problem now, buddy. When we go shoot the art for season 2, guess who's flying from Montreal to Los Angeles? You, my friend. So you just got yourself a job whether you want it or not. So
maybe that the white knight cannot mend a ripped jacket, but white knights they bend broken dreams.
Yes, no, that is that's a line from the new song that was just released, "Lights Out Love." I am actually very proud of that song. I'm proud of the story that it tells. It was a cool moment in which I met someone flying on an airplane, and she told me her story, and it always stuck with me. And so I was very happy with the way the song came out, and then had this incredible opportunity to play the music, to make a real music video. I mean, I shot a couple of smaller ones for Routine and for Freak Show Cold. And that was like me and one friend and us sort of doing this very contained small project. But for Lights Out Love, I flew to San Jose. I flew my band members in from Las Vegas, from Vancouver, and from LA. And we did a 4-day shoot on Lights Out Love. Nick Martinez and his San Jose State Film School, they really just went above and beyond. They worked so hard. They're really proud of the final product, as am I. So if you haven't checked it out yet, Lights Out Love, everywhere you stream or watch music, your Spotify's, your YouTube's, your Amazon, iTunes, wherever you watch music or stream music, it's worldwide.
Absolutely, Ed Quinn. And when I am watching this video clip for that song called Lights Out Love, I can feel that you gave so much of your energy, because at the end, the clip and the music end abruptly, sharply, in a flash.
Yeah, no, it is. It's kind of a barn burner of a song, and so, when it was done, it was just done. And so there is something I like that about a song. There's some songs, you fade out slowly or you kind of wrap them up, and that one just done. Lights out, like a light switch, boom. So
Absolutely, Ed Quinn, and this particular song has a very fast BPM, 3 letters that have a lot of meaning for the Arthur Edward Quinn legacy, because BPM can also mean Barcelona, Paris, and Milan.
Yes, Victor, yes. So when I thought I was going to be a lawyer. I was a history major at the University of California, Berkeley. And I was surfing a place called Ocean Beach, San Francisco. And I'm basically changing out of my wetsuit. So I'm half naked. And a gentleman came up to me and said, "Have you ever thought of shooting any pictures?" Which is a really good way to get kidnapped. and never be heard from again. But I had a lot of friends who are in the modeling world, and they said, I ended up going and taking pictures with the guy, and I got an agent. Then I got another agent. And then I graduated, and I was about to go and do an internship with Coldwell Banker, and a big commercial real estate firm. And instead, I went to Europe, and I started in Paris, did one show, went to Barcelona and did a whole bunch of shows. Went to Milan, got no shows, went back to Barcelona for about 6 months. And then the next 3 years, I just did the show tours where I would live in a city. I live in Barcelona, or I live in Milan, or I live in Paris, or Hamburg, or Geneva, and then would go do all the runway shows during show season. And it was a very indirect way for me to get to Hollywood, because although I did model some, I wasn't a very good model. There were a lot. Modeling was either very, very beautiful young boys or men. And I was sort of early 20s, I'd be a man eventually, but I wasn't pretty like the little kids, the young guys. And so, but what I did really well in was commercials. I think in 2 years, I shot 37 commercials all through Europe. In the early 90s, you couldn't turn on a TV anywhere in Europe and not have a commercial I was on pop up. So, that sort of gave me the realization that I should be working on camera. Maybe I could do this. So that's why I moved to LA and started studying acting.
In definitive, at Quinn, you completely turned the fashion week to the fashion months and year, because two of those three cities are actually the capital of the fashion week every time, and you were living there doing photography, but also, as you just mentioned, some commercials.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was because I'm big. I'm a big guy. I'm over. I think I'm about 2 meters, 6'4". So the clothes wouldn't fit for a lot of the photo shoots. So they could make them fit for shows, for runway shows. But then, the beer commercial, the car commercial, the bank commercial, the whiskey commercial. I mean, just on and on and on. And so, yeah, I was very fortunate. And you're right. So Milan and Paris were the centers of fashion. Barcelona, I don't know if it's still true, but Barcelona was the capital of commercial production. Everybody, I was shooting commercials for, England and Paris and Italy and Norway in Barcelona because of the weather and because of the topography. Like they have the seas and the islands and the mountains it can double for everything. And so from all over Europe, people would come to all over the world, really, would come to Barcelona to shoot commercials. And so if you were there, you'd shoot a lot. But then I would go to Milan or Paris, and I'd still get the commercials. I'd be trying to get the Armani campaign or the Yves Saint Laurent. Nope. I got I got a beer commercial instead. So that is what it is.
You get the beer commercial. This is what it is at Quinn. And actually, before the year 2000, you also had a step way before Lights Out Love into the musical field with multiple bands in which you took your parts. For example, Matt Theory and also Scattergood, which means a wasteful person spent third.
Yeah, no, it's very, very true. It's I came from Europe to LA to act. I was studying acting, still making a living doing commercials here in the States. But, I had played music my whole life. Where I grew up in Berkeley, California, everyone played music. And we were really lucky that right in Berkeley, California, was an unknown guitarist by the name of Joe Satriani, who now is considered one of the greatest guitarists to ever live. And he was teaching kids at this secondhand guitar store. And so we didn't just learn how to play, we learned how to play really well. And when I was back in LA and studying and hanging out, there were a bunch of other guys who also kind of played some music, and we just put a band together almost just for fun. And it just took off really quick. And pretty soon we were headlining the Sunset Strip. We had a lot of label interest, but music is very, very difficult. It is probably the most difficult industry in entertainment, if you ask me. It's so hard to gain any kind of traction. It is so hard to get noticed. It is so hard to make a living. And you can get really close, and then you have a band. It might be your three best friends, but after a while, everybody gets sick of everybody. So you end up with these, the band implodes, and then I took over the vocals to try and save it, and then that imploded, and I just, it was an incredible time, and I had always thought of it. And then I literally went back to acting and started acting, got lucky, and have been working ever since. But I've always kept playing music. I built a music studio over COVID, and now I'm starting to record all these songs that I was playing back in the day on the main stages of the Roxy and the Troubadour, and so it's really fun to be able to finally record and promote all of this music decades later. I feel very fortunate.
Absolutely, at Quinn, it had a very special meaning that, as you just mentioned, your band stopped before the beginning of the new millennial, the new century, the new decade, as a fresh start for new projects such as Beeper, but also almost 2 decades after The Oval. Can you tell us a little bit more about this very special project?
Yeah, so it was about 2019. I had just come off of Two Broke Girls and stepped onto another show called One Day at a Time. And so things were good. I had been working for a while. Before that I was on a show called Mistresses. Before that I was on a show called Revenge. I had just been sort of going from TV show to TV show, but joining shows that were already on the air. So always kind of coming in season 2, season 5, whatever. And so what was great was to get this phone call I got the phone call to come in for a meeting, and it was hardly an audition. It seemed like I didn't know what I was doing there, and I kind of read a couple of scenes, but when I left the meeting, my phone rang, and it was Tyler Perry on the other end of the phone. And he wanted to have a discussion about how he works and what was going to be expected of me. And, he really wanted me to be able to anchor the show, so he could build this huge world around it. And, I don't know why he chose me, where he saw me beforehand, but, it was just this moment in time. And now, we just finished season 6. We have 135 episodes we've completed so far. I think we'll do at least one more. We could do many more seasons. So it's been this incredible journey, because not only does Tyler have such a global fan base that is very loyal to him, so you have this instant built-in audience that sees it not just here in the States, but Canada, France, UK, all through Africa, the Caribbean, Brazil, Central America. During the pandemic, a lot of shows got shut down, or a lot of people just couldn't work. And because Tyler owns his own studio and he works so fast, he could move the entire cast and crew into a bubble, a quarantine bubble, and we shot 2 seasons over during COVID, over quarantine, in his bubble. So you're always just so grateful to working as an actor is the biggest gift, because the hardest thing to do in acting is actually get a job. But to be on a job where you also get to work during lockouts and during strikes and during pandemics, I mean, it's pretty amazing. There's possibly looming strikes in Hollywood that everybody's discussing right now. And so we just shot another season of the show just to get one in the can in case, but he can move that quickly. So it's really an incredible place to be.
Having another season ready in the can, this is very inspiring at Quinn. And if I understood correctly, this mega project entered your life from the door, but the entrance hall.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere, like literally, and so it was really. I'm very, very grateful and very blessed, and all shows end. This one's going to end too, and I will be sad when it does.
Absolutely. The entrance hall was a direct reference to the name of the main door in the White House.
Oh, yes. Well, when I got the job, the White House wasn't built yet. He showed me. He said that's where the White House was going to be. And I thought, it's going to be some cheap sort of, pop up, like, it'll look like a facade of the White House. Nope. He built it. The whole thing to scale. It's pretty spectacular.
Tyler Perry built it, and this television series is a political drama and also a primetime soap opera called The Oval. But if I understood correctly, it is not always about politics, but about relationships and the behind the scene. What is your personal interpretation of the political element in that series?
Yeah, no, Tyler's vision for the show was to do, well, the upstairs, downstairs of the White House. I mean, it's a very old way of storytelling about institutions, not like a Downton Abbey or something in which you tell the story of behind closed doors, what the cameras don't see in politics, and you get into the personal lives of the people who keep the White House running. Now, Tyler loves crazy, over-the-top, salacious storylines. So some of the storylines in our show are borderline just bonkers. But that's okay. People love it. And it's super fun to act. It's super fun to get to play those roles. So, it's just, it's a really fun, crazy roller coaster of a ride. And, I just love that the fans continue to absolutely love it.
Absolutely. At Quinn, this story is taking place at the banks of the Potomac River in Washington, D.C., following your specific story as the President of the United States of America. And I would love to discuss about becoming POTUS, because there is important responsibilities.
Yeah, it's having studied history, and I also study that it's probably the most difficult job in the world. It's almost impossible to be good at it because half the country is going to hate you just because you play for the wrong team, and so it's an incredibly difficult position to be put in. And that is sort of what Mike drove my character. That, he didn't even really want to be a politician. He sort of fell into politics and just kept winning elections. He became a mayor, and then he became a governor, and now all of a sudden he's the president. And his family's a hot mess. He's a hot mess, and yet he's there as the figurehead for the most powerful nation in the world. And so it's a lot of fun to have a lot of fun with that.
It was a lot of fun to have a lot of fun with that, and your character went, as you just mentioned, from the mayor of Pittsburgh to governor of Pennsylvania. And I assume that, as you just mentioned, you studied the history of the US president, but as an actor, you also maybe relearned to do handshaking and also walking.
Yeah. I mean, it's all of the things. It's, sitting down and making sure your suit isn't wrinkled when you sit down into the chair. It's having, you speak one way when you're talking to everybody else. And then when you speak to America, you have a voice that reaches everyone, not just your core constituents, but across the aisle. Because the only way our country will be strong is if we come together as one. And so, so you're always, you get to play with all sort of those little nuances of playing the president. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, Ed Quinn, you cannot handle the microphone the same way you did in the video clip of Lights Out Love.
Yeah, no, it's definitely, you have to, I think a lot of people were very surprised that I was, when they saw the character that I was playing like when the music came out. No, a lot of people don't know I was a musician, and they certainly didn't think I was going to be playing, hard rock blues. And so it's actually been really fun to sort of have this different side of myself, the different artistic. Because for me, music is just art. I'm not trying. I put all those songs, write the songs, and record the songs, and perform the songs, and make the music videos completely out of like a labor of love. And I really have no expectations for it. I'm just proud when it gets out there, because now it can live forever in the ethos.
I am really enjoying those words, echo of love. And Ed Quinn, to come back to this television series, The Oval, what is your favorite part of this experience? Because this is, I believe, the role you always wanted since the beginning. What are your most memorable moments?
Well, I'm just happy. I mean, when you do a Tyler Perry show, you have a real opportunity to be successful. And if you're not, it usually has something, he's had some very good shows get canceled because the network he was making them for decided to go a different way with programming, or his deal ran out, or there's lots of reasons why shows don't make it. And so I've been in this business a long time. I've been on a lot of canceled shows. I've done a lot of pilots that didn't make it. So I was so relieved that we found an audience. Tyler's audience basically really embraced us, and that the show is continued to be super entertaining. And for me, I just tried to make my character a little bit different than some of the archetypes in Tyler's other shows. I wanted, as crazy as President Hunter Franklin is, I also wanted him to be really funny. I wanted him to make people laugh. And I'm pretty sure, I know from watching Twitter on show night that, almost every episode, I have people laughing out loud, which is, that to me is probably the thing I'm the most proud of.
We can put all of the success of The Oval on the quality of the handshake of Hunter Franklin, because they can be subjects of extensive commentary and can garner a wild media attention.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's very, very true. You're playing this very iconic character, and to pull it off, and then I'm going to a party tonight in downtown LA. I'm going to go buy a massive 70-foot electronic billboard of me as the president, which is, it's one of those things you never really get used to, but just a reminder that, you got real lucky and you worked real hard and things are going real well. So.
You just mentioned those words. The things are going well at Quinn, and this is particularly the case this year because you are involved in two very special projects that are going to come this year, and I would love to hear more about it. I am talking about Man in a Long Black Coat and also Shadow Force.
Yeah, it was a great end to last year. We shot a season of The Oval in the spring. I worked on the music most of the summer. And then come fall, I all of a sudden first got a phone call from Joe Carnahan, the director of Shadow Force. And he had this great action thriller that he was going to shoot in Colombia with Kerry Washington and Frenchman Omar Sy and Mark Strong. And it was just this, it's such a fun script. It's a big Lionsgate movie, lots of bullets, lots of blood, lots of fun lines. And so we just had this incredible experience down there. I can't wait. Don't have any information on their release date. I know they're close to locking pictures, so as soon as they do that, then they can figure out when they want to release have the big premiere of the movie. And so it was great. I was in this perfect spot where I was sort of I thought kind of done for the year, was building a house, kind of focused on other stuff. And out of nowhere, I get another offer for this movie, A Man in the Long Black Coat. Much different type of film. Sort of a high plains, modern Western. Mark Fierstein does an amazing job as the lead. Incredible cast as well. Neil McDonough, Christopher Lloyd, Dermot Mulroney. So it's, I'm really excited to see that movie as well. That'll be coming out this year. So it was a nice, strong end to last year. And then coming into this year, went back, shot another season of The Oval, and been promoting the music. I have live performances coming up. I have all this other fun stuff, and and it'll be really fun when those movies, finally hit the screen.
This will be very fun when those movies hit the screens. I am looking forward to see Detective Wallace and Parker on the screen. Thank you very much, Arthur Edward Quinn.
Thank you, Victor, so much. This was really, really nice. Thank you for having me. And again, if your listeners are interested in the music, edquinn.com or anywhere you listen or stream music, Ed Quinn and the Swamp Metal All-Stars. And I really appreciate you taking the time.